Alright, I'm Chris, Chris Kelly at MacDevMilitia.com. I'm here today to show you how to tech the Cyborg Rx, which is this marker right here. This is my buddy Jacob's. Let's get into it. Show you the basic maintenance on what you need to do to maintain these guns. It's real simple. First, remove the macro line. Second, remove the bolt, twist, pull. Third, unscrew the drivetrain. Pull it out. You get the spring, cup seals at the end. Then you're left with the gun. We'll start off by disassembling the high pressure regulator. Just set the gun aside. You'll turn from the bottom, remove the entire works. That shouldn't happen. And what you can do is you can take these works right here, the bottom works, unscrew the top portion from the bottom portion, which is the swivel. This will hold your reg seat and the reg seat carrier, such as so. It should be scratch, dent, and debris free, always. There should be no lube on it, no nothing. Then you'll be left with this, the swivel on the bottom. All you gotta do, push from the top. I just use my thumb. Then what you'll get is you'll get the bottom, you'll get the swivel piece, and you'll get your filter. Always make sure this is clean. Easiest way to do it is blow from the inside, just to get all the debris out. This one's clean, so it's kind of pointless. Put the screen back on. Snap the swivel on. Now what I like to do, I'll take the bottom works with a little bit of lube. Just spread a little bit on these O-rings just so it doesn't quite lock up as much. Just take that, screw it back together. Next, take the regulator itself. I take the macro line, push out all the innards, just like that. Get this clean, if there's any debris or anything. This one's clean. Then you'll have a shim stack. Just so you can see a little better. You'll have a shim stack like this. Just go ahead and dump it. You're going to start fresh. Make sure the piston is clean. Put some lube on there. I like to make sure each one of these shims is real clean, nice and non-dirty. And you just start down, cup it so it's facing upwards, downwards, upwards, downwards, upwards, downwards, upwards, downwards, and then you should finish with the angle going up, such as so. Now what you'll do, you'll take piston bottom, the O-rings like this, you can see them. Put a little dab of lube on this inner part O-ring. What that do is it will seal on the piston. Put them back together and put them on. Okay, at this point, all you're going to want to do is take a little dab of lube again, just a little bit. Put it on the outer O-rings. Take your reg body, slide that back in, like so. Take your bottom works, screw it back on. High pressure reg, done. So next up on the drivetrain is the drivetrain itself. This is the cup seal. You really shouldn't have many issues with it ever, but if you do, you can contact us and you can order a new one. The one thing is do not put lube on the stem of this. If you do, it can stick. Keep the spring just nice and clean. Okay. And then with drivetrain, all you do, take it, you got one solid piece, like so, just unscrew it. That's all you gotta do. Take the front half, make sure it's clean, make sure the face for the cup seal is clean, as you can see this one is. Set aside, take the ram out, or the hammer rather. And what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna take a Q-tip, get all that extra lube out of there, because if it gets on this bumper O-ring here, you're gonna run into some stick issues, first shot drop off, etc., etc., etc. It could be hard to reach velocity. There's just a handful of issues that you can run into pretty quick. Check that bumper O-ring, make sure it's not shredded or torn. I have seen a handful of times when people start cranking up their LPR, the bottom of this hammer itself will start to flake. So that's one thing you actually want to look out for. The hammer itself, get all the excess lube off. I use my shirt because I don't really care. Take a dab of lube, a little bit on that back O-ring. Then the trick I use is for this sail O-ring here. Put a dab of lube on the front part of the hammer and a little bit on the O-ring. Then you can just move that forward, lube behind it, and move the O-ring around a little bit, and shazam, you got that all lubed. Insert that back into the housing, screw it back together, like so. Make sure you get it snug, so the lines line up. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then what you're going to want to do is it's time to put it back in the marker. The easiest way I know to do it is take the drivetrain itself, put the cup seal in, put the spring on. A lot of times there's one direction where the spring will kind of sit itself. And then take it vertically, with the marker vertically, and insert it. This way, that spring will seat nice and easily instead of you monkeying around with it trying to get the seal. Screw the back cap. Now this is one thing that's extremely important. You always want to take the wrench after you get the drivetrain together and take this back anchor and make sure this is snug. If you don't, make sure this is snug like that. What can happen is your drivetrain will scoot forward and you can either snap the housing itself or can cause significant damage to the bolt, such as this one. As you can see, the drivetrain wasn't quite lined up right. That anchor came loose and put a lot of strain on the bolt, which obviously snapped it. And then you have to order a replacement, which no one wants to do. Again, reverse, put it in, take your regulator, screw that bad boy on. Now the only thing left that you'll ever have to maintain will be your low pressure regulator, which I will show you. All you gotta do for that, unscrew the cap, be nice and empty. You got a spring and a piston, which I have no fingernails, so it's a little bit harder to grab. Wow. All you gotta do is grab the stem of the piston, pull it out. There's two O-rings. Just put a little dab of lube on that. Make sure it's clean on the bottom. I already maintained this one, so it's kind of frugal to redo it again. And then you just put your cap back on. Mind you that I'm screwing it the opposite direction that you see on the camera because my Mac is reversed. And that pretty much sums it up. The only other issues you would have would be eyes, which this gun has a Tadao flash, so it's kind of different. But if you see an eye fault mode, or if it has something blocking it, or if it's not reading at all, you could have an eye issue. At that point, check to make sure you didn't pitch any wires. Other than that, it's pretty much everything that can and will go wrong at all. So, yep. That's MacDev Tech video. That's about it. Let me know if you have any other questions, post comment, do whatever, and I'll get back to you on it.